And for the next couple of weeks, everything they were throwing at me was shit I wasn't interested in doing. I did not want to fucking do half this shit. As a matter of fact, these people were bothering me. And as a matter of fact, it was climbing on into my life. But something else had happened. Around that time, I went to the store one night, like I did for fucking 30 years. And they come back there, they go, Joey, you're up next. And I was smoking a joint, whatever the fuck I was doing. I go, let's go do it, like I've done 1,000 times. And I run through the hallway. I say hello to people, you know, who's in the hallway, Eric Griffin, blah, blah, blah. I walk up to the top of the stairs in the original room. I look in, and that really great girl's up there, the writer. I forget what her name is. She just moved back to L.A. She was close with Stanhope, living down there. And, dog, I got a batch of anxiety that I couldn't see. Guys, I got anxiety that I couldn't fucking see. My hearing was going in and out. I was starting to I couldn't breathe. This is something I've been doing all my life. And here I am. Am I having a heart attack? I'll never forget that I looked at the window at the Comedy Store. But behind the stage is a window to the right-hand side of the comics. They had covered it. That made me panic more. So I went to walk down the stairs. Now I'm really out of oxygen. I just wanted to see the outside of the street. This is all happening to me at the Comedy Store with the light on. What that means is I'm next, and she's going to end at any fucking minute now. So I run up the stairs looking for anybody for help, and I see Paulie Shaw, who I fucking love. And I go up to him, I go, Paulie, come here. I can't breathe. I go, Paulie, come here. I got to talk to you about something. He's like, what's up? I go, listen, dog. I can't get on stage. I got a horrible fucking, I can't breathe. He goes, you don't look good, buddy. You want some water? I go, no, I got some right here, but I don't think I should go up on stage. And he looks at me, he goes, I already went up. I can't go up again. I go, Paulie, who gives a fuck? Just go up there and tell him Joey's going to give me 2 minutes to get my head. He goes, nah, bro, you're on it yourself. And I'm like, God damn it, Paulie, cocksucker. And with that, Joey Diaz. Guys, I went up to the stage, and I never blew it up to what it was. I remember talking to Paulie, and next thing I remember is being on the stage, and within 2 minutes, the light coming on. That's all I remember. And people were fucking howling. And I don't know what I had said. I don't know what I had done. Now, this is a joke amongst us, but it's not, guys. I walked off that stage. I had to pee right away. I was sweating. I had tingles in my body. I'm like, I'm going to fucking die. And I went to the car. I peed. I went to the car, and I just sat there for like 15 minutes. I got my bearings to me, and I went home. In 2007, I got off the blow. And I was fine at first. You know, I was off the blow. I was off alcohol. I was off anything else I was doing that was crazy. But now I go to the doctor one day, and I go, Doc, I don't know. From time to time, I have a hard time breathing. He goes, listen, this is anxiety. Let me give you these pills. He gave me those football Xanaxes. So, I don't know. I would take them, 1 or 2 when I felt it, and then leave them at home. I would be out at night, and I would get anxiety. But it never bothered me again. After that bout at the store, I'll never forget, I had Rogan that week, and I had to go on Rogan and tell him the story. And as we were leaving, he's like, bro, that sounds crazy. I didn't explain it. I wasn't totally honest with everybody about it, but I blacked out, guys. And after that, my anxiety level started going up. After that Netflix thing, I don't know what happened to me. Something wasn't right. And guess what, guys? I got up all the way to, I was 340 pounds, 336. I was smoking God knows how much. I was eating God knows how much. My diet was okay, but my sleeping wasn't good. And when you're not sleeping good, you're not thinking clearly. You know, the sleep apnea wasn't affecting me, but the fucking sleeping 5 hours, having to fly, having to sleep 2 hours, all that shit wears on your system. I didn't fucking know it. Who knows it? Who fucking knows it? We're fucking gangsters. You know what I'm saying? We don't have time to fucking bleed. And guys, somewhere around that time, I'm like, I got to start eating these fucking Xanaxes. So here I'm eating the Xanaxes. And at the time, I was eating maybe 2 a day. I was eating 1 in the morning and 1 at night to sleep. And they were fine. And I'm not drinking on them, thank God. And I'm smoking weed like a motherfucker. I'm taking edibles like a motherfucker. I'm eating hash like a motherfucker. You know, I asked Lee the other day, I go, Lee, remember those bottles of liquid we were drinking? They were 200 milligrams. We would drink one of those just to, when I saw him, they were like an aperitif. Like, hey, what's going on? Take a tube, and Lee would go, not again. And he'd drink it, you know. And between the Xanax, the edibles, right then and there, 2017 was where I started a drop. I felt a drop in my connection with Lee was dropping. Lee was starting comedy, and I was very happy for him, but I didn't want him to become a Brendan Schaub, like for people to go after Brent. Like I didn't want people to go after Lee how they went after Brendan. I appreciate what Brendan did. But at the end of the day, a lot of you people are right. He was given too much too fast. I love Brendan. I'm not saying nothing bad about him. What happened was that you don't react well to that when you're a young comic. You don't, guys. All that up front, the third or second year is not healthy for anybody. And I looked after Lee, you know, and I kept him at home. He went on the road with me some weeks, but for the most part, he would stay home and do stand-up. And that was based around our relationship. But our relationship was starting to wear down because we were worn the fuck down. We were worn down. And it didn't dawn on me how worn down we were till like November of 2019. We would do the podcast, and usually we were talking every day, 3 or 4 times a day. We would do that podcast on Wednesday. We wouldn't talk again until Sunday. And I knew right then it wasn't, we were going both directions. He dumped Paul after that, you know. He started a new life. But our fucking edible use, and listen, guys, I'm the first one to tell you that you could smoke dope all day and do edibles all day and it won't affect you. I used to be able to say that. Now I can't look you in the eye and say that because it all has an effect for you. And all that shit together, mixed together the way it was, guys, I was drinking 8 to 10 espressos a day. 8 to 10, guys, not 2. What does a fat fuck need 10 coffees for a day? And I mean, I couldn't live without those coffees at all. I would have to drink one at 2, one at 5 before I took it to martial arts. I would do 4 or 3 cup espresso at 8 o'clock. Not fucking Starbucks ass water. Cuban espresso with fucking 10 scoops of sugar. Fucking, you know. And on top of that, I'm eating a fucking Xanax to get out of the house. On top of that, I'm on fucking a medication that I threw the fuck out when I moved here. And it fucked with me for a while, but I fought it out, and it was the vertigo medication. That shit was fucking me up, as stupid as it sounds, because it was giving me pukes. I would puke once a week. The guys, I was a fucking mess, you know. Not rehab mess or anything like that, but I was just a mess. And I was getting unhappier and unhappier. And every day I would ask myself, how can you work hard for 20 fucking years, get to where you are, get to the best part of your career, and you're just not fucking happy? I wanted off the road, not because I didn't like comedy no more, because I was burnt. I was burning the candle with the podcast room. Listen, I lived and died in that podcast room. Lived and died in that podcast room. When I would go to that podcast, I leave my soul there all the time. Whether telling stories, telling something I had never told before, I would leave my soul in that fucking podcast. But when I knew it was definitely fucking time to abandon ship was the day Lee and I did ketamine on a Sunday fucking afternoon. It was fun, you know, and then we did a podcast, and then the guy left like a gram of it, and we did it in 2 lines, and I was fucking gone. I'll never forget doing a line, getting in the car, and by the time I got to the light, I didn't know where the fuck I was. I had to make a left turn, and I couldn't feel my legs. And then I got to my house, and when I pulled my leg out of the car in the driveway, no bueno, guys. I had to pull my leg in and slam the door and sitting there for like 45 minutes. I was fucked up. And then I went in the house, and guess what? Out of all the nights for my wife to stay up, She's fucking up watching True Laws, that show with the fucking dude from the Green Book and the other dude at the time. And I'm in the office tripping out. I'm like, listen, if I don't go out there and see my wife, she's going to come in here and check on me. I might as well go out there and see my wife. And I went out there, and I sat on the couch with her, and within minutes, I started sweating profusely. I had to take my fucking shirt off. And she's like, why are you sitting like that? I'm like, oof, it's hot in here. And finally, the guy we were watching, the guy from the Green Book, his head started doing voof, voof, voof on the screen. And I sat there. After 2 minutes, I go, take this off. And she's like, what the fuck is going on with you? I go, I'll tell you in the morning. I had to come clean with her in the morning that I did ketamine. She didn't know how to fucking react to it. But I remember her looking at me going, Joey, this can't continue. You guys are going crazy. I mean, I would leave to do a podcast at 7 o'clock at night, and I'd walk in the door at 1:30 in the morning. You know how many times we got to the podcast at 7 with a guest and would talk shit for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before the podcast started, and then kick ourselves in the ass? We didn't turn this on. And by that time, we're fucking blasted on THC. They're drinking. They're doing whatever the fuck. But the good thing was there was no alcohol a lot of the nights. Most of the nights there was no booze. I think Ron White, one night we drank with, there was never any cocaine except for 2 people who did coke in there that had nothing to do with us. You know, we weren't doing anything like that. We didn't lose control like that. We just lost control of themselves. And I caught myself on those podcasts just talking nonsense. It was just nonsense. It wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. I knew I wasn't fucking healthy. I didn't know how unhealthy I was, but I knew for a fact my little buddy Lee was really unhealthy and very unhappy. You don't shove your food in your face like that when you're happy. He was unhappy. I was unhappy. And it wasn't until the pandemic that we were in there one day. He's coughing. And I go, when is this going to end? We're not going to get no better. We're not going to come out of this pandemic any better. And I remember saying in the beginning, a lot of people are going to change during this pandemic. And man, my fucking words to God's ears, because I'll never forget, I'm like, we can't continue to do this anymore. Either that, I got to add a new person in here. I didn't want to get rid of Lee, even though, listen, this is the beauty about it was, I was getting 100 emails a week to get rid of Lee. And I refused. I fucking refused. I was getting frustrated, and there was moments, but I couldn't do it. But when I saw the Twitch that night, when he fell asleep on the Twitch, that was the night I said, we need to do something. Either I send him away to get help, we take a break from the podcast, and I said, none of that's going to work. And I think a few days later, my wife said to me, listen, we got a house in Jersey if we want it, and just to let you know, there's not going to be any school in California till June. And I called Jimmy Florentine, and everything was done, and we decided to break that thing up. And, you know, the rumors were flying. Oh, my God. What I saw on that, I don't even want to repeat them because they're the dumbest things in the world, what people took from that. I feel so bad for them, you know, for even coming to those conclusions, because nobody had said those things. I still remember when we had the YouTube page that the guy was putting my clips on it, and I said he couldn't use it anymore, and he's like, I have hidden footage of you guys doing cocaine and having orgy. Come on, guys. Who's going to have an orgy with me and fucking Lee? Get your fucking life together, guys.
That's why Reddit has a lot of conspiracies about podcasts and shit.
Oh, yeah, and it's like just nothing happened. We just looked at each other one day and said, we can't keep going at this fucking rate. We just can't keep doing it no more. And I was fucking miserable. My anxiety was to an all-time level. Those fucking Xanaxes, I went from eating 2 a day to eating 10 a fucking day. 2 at a fucking chunk because my heart wouldn't stop fucking beating. And you know what it was? The Xanax was making me do that. Because Xanax is only supposed to be used for 2 weeks to cure anxiety until you get to the medication, whether they give you Zoloft, Prednisone, this, that, dude, Busbarton, whatever the fuck they decide to give you. If you read anything about Xanax, It'll tell you. It's just a temporary fucking thing. 3-4 days, and you got to get off that shit. Between that, my unhappiness, and this is what was sad about that how can you be fucking unhappy when you're selling out theaters, Joey? But something occurred and all that. The Sopranos. And listen, there's always a silver lining. While I was shooting the movie, I thought it would be a good movie. There was a couple things that I questioned, but I think they would have cleaned them up. But the thing I got the most out of that movie, I enjoyed working for David Chase. It was great. But I came home with no Lee for 3 weeks. No wife, no kid. And I told my agents after the third day, because they wouldn't stop with I just spoke to Cleveland. When are you going to make that date up? I don't give a fuck. I don't really give a fuck. I'm on the set of the movie. I'm having a good time. As a matter of fact, don't call till I'm back in California. I'm never a dick to people, but I had to make that rule because they didn't get it. I'd be in the middle. I was excited just to be on a fucking set. They didn't want to hear it. You know why they didn't want to hear it? Because a movie only pays you $600 a day. That's $60 commission to them. That's why they'd rather have you getting beat up on the fucking road so their commission's a lot higher. They'll tell you how happy you are, that you got we're so happy and proud of you that you got the movie. They fucking hating life because you're not making them any fucking money. So they don't want you there. And the whole time they're calling you, trying to throw you off your game. Hey, what do you think about this date for Missouri? What do you think about this date for New Year's Eve? Listen, do me a favor. Don't call me no more. And those 3 weeks was when I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. This is fucking tremendous. I'm out of Los Angeles, which I definitely needed a break out of. I'm here without Lee, which at that time kind of felt good. I needed a break from everybody. But when I came back, I realized how much I loved Lee and how I wanted, and even till today, man. What I found out since I moved here is I love that little guy. He helped me get my word out to the fucking world. He helped me put a vision together that I didn't know I even had in my fucking head. And at the end of the day, Mike will tell you, anybody will tell you that's been around him, he's a very, very sweet kid. All that talk and violence and drug use and eating ass, that must have traumatized that fucking kid. He's a sweet, sweet kid. And yes, when I got on that plane, when he left, I was never going to leave him there. There was no way I was going to leave him there. I would have waited till he was ready to leave. And both him and Steve Simone, who I love dearly, I was like, dog, when I go, I'm taking you with me. Even if you move in with me, I do not want you staying out here. And that was it. And once I got here, it was weird. Lee was in Milwaukee, and we were talking, but it's like we were still mad at each other about breaking up the podcast. Because when I went to him, I didn't go to him in bad terms or anything. I just went to him and go, Lee, this ain't working. I don't want you to move to this neighborhood with me. This is all families. You're just going to be down here alone again. I don't want you alone. I know what it is to be alone. I was alone in L.A. for 23 fucking years. Enough of this shit. Go home, get grounded, go to your mother's, get that feeling again, go in that fucking bedroom as a kid, go into your garage. And he did. And he fucking, one day he told me, I'm losing this fucking weight. I'm walking. When he was in Milwaukee one night, he called me and he said he got so high, he was eating Kit Kats and he fell asleep on the Kit Kats. And when he woke up, they were all melted. This should not be happening to a 30-year-old guy at the time. And that's when we had to talk about, Lee, you got to take care of yourself. And he went for a walk and fucking started a Patreon, and everything was great. And I got to tell you something. Our relationship today is better than ever. And I think he came down here one time. Not this time or the time before. One of the times we did a podcast with him. And I got to be honest with you, somewhere in my mind, I was like, well, maybe I'll ask Lee to do the podcast again. And I remember us sitting here That podcast, he was over here and I was over here. I think Steve Simone was here, one of those. And I'll never forget that I said it would never work again. I don't want to do the podcast with him. I'd rather have him as my friend and as my confidant than for me to... I remember even Mike said to me one day, let's do this. I could be here in 15 minutes. Mike doesn't know. We can't go back there. Like, can you imagine us eating mushrooms now and fucking 500 milligrams of edibles? You'll never get home, Mike. Your wife will be calling me going, dog, come on, man. He fucking shows up. He's bleeding from his eyeballs. You know.
I know, but I do it.
I know you do it. I would do it fucking too.
I was doing it when you guys were doing it.
We're doing it, yeah.
I was with you.
But the thing was that it was a time, there was a time for it. We were both wounded fucking deer, and we made it work because we needed each other on that podcast. Now, we're not wounded deer anymore. I know exactly what I want to do and what I don't want to do. And I'll tell you what, guys, you've looked at me the last month. Tomorrow's a month since I've been on stage. I look better, I feel better, and I'm going to tell you what the problem was. I don't like shit hanging over my head no more. I don't like it. I don't like living here on February 27th and going, fuck, on March 4th, I got to drive to the city. That shit bothers me anymore. I'd rather do it as a hobby. I'd rather show up and have a good time. That's a conclusion I've come up to. I don't know what I'm going to do in my future, but I don't want to take my life to where it was. It's completely different now, and it can't even go there even if I wanted to. I don't have the time and the energy to put into that shit. I'm having a great time as a dad. I'm having a great time with Mike. Look, I told Mike one day, look, Mike, we ain't doing Wednesdays no more. I'm not happy. It makes me too stressed out. Boom! We do one day a week. I get my shit out. You guys get motivated. I get motivated, and we're all fucking happy. For me to sit here and talk for 3 hours, those days are over with. I ain't got 3 hours in me. You don't want to hear me for 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting emails now. Joey, you're not funny no more. I tried to tell you. You wouldn't fucking listen. You know? Some guy hit me up Monday morning. You're not funny no more. I don't like you on the pod. Okay. I told you guys, I'm not the same fucking person. What do you want me to whip fucking balloons out of my ass and be a fucking magic trick? If I can't fucking do it. And that's it, and that's that for a beautiful fucking Monday morning. I love exactly where I'm fucking going right now. And it's a positive direction. And just to drop something on you motherfuckers real quick, just to let you know I'm a man of fucking many opportunities. Take a look at this fucking reefer right here. This is as beautiful as this gets. This is made by Laughing Gas, but it's not one of my brands at all. This brand is called Guava Kush. It's not one of my weeds. I'm telling you right now. If you're close to Laughing Gas in Studio City, if anytime you go into a weed store, they have this Guava Runts, it's called, jump on it, buy it all out. This is some of the best reefer I've smoked. Let me tell you something. I've been smoking this weed for a week. I did 2 bong hits Saturday night after the Philly game. I passed out in my fucking chair. This weed is still getting me zonked. It smells like pussy. It smells like a Greek chick did aerobics for an hour and didn't fucking Zoom her little monkey. That's what it smells like. It smells tremendous. I love it. I gave a little bit to Mike there. He's ready for the week. He's tip-top too. I got my little bud left. I got a couple buds of this left. And I got another surprise for you motherfuckers. Boom! It's here. It's in hand. And it's ready for you motherfuckers to order. Tremendous. The life of a comedy fucking savage. Guess what? I got nice pictures in here for you dummies in here. You guys like pictures. Yeah, but they're not like great pictures. It's pictures you probably saw before. But I got the pictures of families that took me in. And that meant more to me to have in there than anything. I don't know if these are pre-prints or whatever. Now I can't find the pictures. Oh, here they are. I got the Runnies. I got fucking Mr. T, the Benders. I got fucking Burt Reynolds in this motherfucker. I got my boys. I got my 2 brothers that died early on. You'll see the book when you fucking get it yourself. It's a great book. It's a great fucking read. I went in on Saturday and started doing the audio book. That was a lot of fun. I started doing the audio book March 7th, but it's here, motherfuckers. And thanks for you guys. And thanks for all of you guys, the years on the church, for letting me fucking tell some of these stories. to you and really polish them up. There's other shit I found in here that I was like, wow, I can't believe I gave that info, but it's good info for you guys to know, so you know how the fucking this whole thing came apart. They're here. Amazon.com. You could pre-order it right now. You'll get it May motherfucking 2nd, you bad motherfuckers. So I thank you very much for having my back on this. It was great for me to do. It was one of the things I really wanted to do, and that's where I'm at, you bad motherfuckers. So thank you. Thank you for another great week here. Thank you for letting me be me. And thank you for understanding where the fuck we came from and why that podcast. And what I want you to learn from that is, guys, a lot of people called me names. A lot of people sent me hate mail when I canceled it. We weren't going nowhere with that podcast. We had accomplished everything that we could have. It was time to move on to the next chapter of our lives. I know it's very hard for people to do that sometimes, but sometimes you have to learn from that. Shut it down, rebuild, see where you're going, and start all over again. And that's what we did. Listen, the joint ain't the church by no means, but I didn't want to do the church again. I didn't want to do the church again. I didn't want to come in here and do bong hits. You guys already knew all this shit. I wanted to give you something different, whether I've given you that or not, whatever. I'm trying my fucking hardest, you bad motherfuckers. So thank you, and have a great week.